Tell me why you so weird. Why you so weird? Niggas do assume I'm doing bad. Out for mine, trying to do right. Life cooling out, chasing cash. I need my money on my mind. Gotta mind my neighbor, damn mind. Same way I don't mind my way back. Out for mine, trying to do right. Life cooling out, chasing cash.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Charvon.
It's Sappy.
Hey, Ty is here again, and this is
Relatable versus debatable.
Let me go ahead and set the narrative for today's episode. For all my adult listeners out there,
Which is all y'all.
if you're tired of adulting, please raise your hand.
That's me. Ow.
Okay, so 3 hands have been raised in here, just so y'all know. For all my kids out there, if you wish you were an adult, raise your hand. I mean, I'm just imagining,
I think my
kids.
nieces and nephews think they grown anyway. So.
Every child think they're grown until they grown.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's kids out there like, I'm sick of asking for juice.
Not asking for
I
juice.
want to get my own juice.
Gabba gabba, gabba gabba, juice.
No, ain't no kids listening to us. I mean, if it'll get our, views up,
Nah.
as long as their parents allow it, I'm cool with it. Rated R.
Please don't.
With your parents' permission. But anyways, so we're going to be discussing how we feel when we were kids and seeing adults do certain things. Like, damn, I wish I could do that. But then we're going to flip it as well. Now that we are adults, we're going to talk about what we wish we could go back to as a child. All right? So what y'all think about that?
Some things that I wish I could go back to as a child is not paying bills. Like, I wish I did not have to pay bills.
That's number 1 right there.
Can't relate.
Wow. And
Barely.
when I grew up in my household, my mom always tried to instill in us early that you have to pay bills. Like, off the rip. I think I started first paying my first bills, like, when I first got my first job. That was a lot of firsts. But 16 when I got my first job.
Yeah.
At Taco Bell.
I was forced to pay bills.
But the
Forced.
thing,
My mother used to rob me of my checks at gunpoint. Like, give me a goddamn check.
The thing about kids though, like when I was paying bills, at first it started off, she was like, oh, you gotta buy your own pads, you gotta buy your own tampons, you gotta buy your own clothes, you gotta buy your own. I was like, dang, I gotta buy a lot. Like, I wanna get my hair done, I'm a kid.
That's that miscellaneous
a
bill
grown
right
kid.
there.
Not the miscellaneous.
The miscellaneous bill when you make your little charts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Miscellaneous, all the shit I was paying for as a kid. Nah, but really, like, young kids, I think you want the independence, but you don't think about how, like, what that independence comes with.
Includes, yeah. Because if
What
you
they say,
want
with
to
great
go
power
out,
comes great responsibility.
Or more money, more
More
problems.
money, more problems. Same thing. That's the white and the black version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Notorious B.I.G. and Peter Parker. But nah, absolutely.
That sounds like a mixtape, y'all.
But nah, I definitely get it. And I was kind of the same way. My first job was at McDonald's. Crazy thing. I got that job at 15. Then they found out I was 15, which I thought was weird because I'm like, I gave you my birthday. Y'all gave me the job. Y'all found out I was like 15 and a half and then let me
can't
go.
work past a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
really.
no, not work past a certain amount of time. I couldn't work there, period. I needed a work permit, but I didn't get one.
Oh, I got mine.
So then they fired me, whatever. I got
You
paid
got
for
fired
that.
from McDonald's house.
I mean, no.
But you lived in Virginia.
I wasn't
It's
supposed to be able to
different.
work there.
Like-
I was too young. But they paid me for the time that I was there, so whatever.
Like, the labor laws in Virginia versus Maryland versus D.C. are all different. So he had to, it's just
Yeah, so I had to get that work permit that I didn't have, but it is what it is. So eventually, I ended up working there again months later, and then I remember getting that first
Wait,
check.
they was like, "Well, how are you?"
Yeah, I went back, and the job was right down the street, walking
Nah, I feel
distance.
it.
So I went back, got my first check, and I remember getting paid, and my mother was like, all right.
Wait. So the first time they didn't pay you?
No, they
No,
did.
they did.
I'm saying, forget all of that. My first
okay.
check after I went back, period. My mother snatched that joint up off me. Like, she was like, all right, give me a check. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to go ahead and cop some new shoes. Like, brother been hurting. I've been wearing the same shoes all year. Like, no. She was like, give me a check. So, little did I know, I was paying bills without knowing I was paying bills.
I'm dead.
I don't know. I was raised totally different. Like, for me, my mom, I got a job at 14 and 9 months. I think that's when you can get your work permit in Virginia. But I got mine really early because, I mean, everybody in my family works. So it was just something that I was like, I'm trying to work. And I was doing, like, sports. I was doing cheerleading. And it was, like, mad expensive to do it. And my mom was like, yeah, I'm not shelling out $700 for you. And I was like, well, can I get a job to do it? So, yeah, I mean, she was like, sure. And I was able to work at her job. So it wasn't like she couldn't keep an eye on me or nothing like that. So, and my brother worked there too. My sister worked there too.
See, you ain't have to worry about paying for the bus to get home.
Man, I was having a family reunion and
at
shit.
that job, yeah. I mean, it's lit. Shout out to the Bainhams. And I was able to use her car. I drove to practice. I drove to work. And then she worked at night. So, it was we did a little trade-off. And that money, everything I worked for, I was able to use for myself. Like, I used it for cheerleading. I mean, I really...
Cool.
Must be nice, huh?
I mean, my check wasn't big because I was only working on the weekends, but it was enough to pay for what I needed and, little snacks on the side.
Yeah,
So,
little snacks.
Yeah.
I suppose. Let me see. What else? What else did I wish I could do?
I don't know. For me, when I first started working, I was like, ooh, I get to be home. There's some fine niggas at this job.
Oh, my
You
God.
know, I was like, you know what? This might just be the move. Because if I'm being honest, I was doing slave work my whole life. Like, y'all don't know my mama. Like, I was cleaning. I was cooking.
Same.
I did less work at Taco Bell than I did at home. Like, and I got paid for it. So I was cool
I
with
was
that.
washing dishes. I was like the dish boy in my damn house.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what happened. Ty, go clean the kitchen.
I think that's
I'll
just
take out
most
that
men
trash.
because it's like...
No,
we
trash, yes. Not cleaning the kitchen.
But,
Y'all should
okay.
learn how to do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't. But no, see, my mother was...
But what were the other options?
Just clean the house, period. However, the kitchen was always the most tedious task. So whenever I got in trouble...
But did you ever have to clean the living room?
No, because...
So how do you know?
No, I'm sorry. I've cleaned the living room.
Okay.
But my point is, the focus was the kitchen because my mother come home, she want to cook.
Yeah.
Like, niggas need to eat.
Yeah, every day, B.
People, like, you. It's hard to cook in a dirty kitchen.
Yes.
You can chill in a dirty living room and still be okay. No, you can.
Not in my
everybody
African
may not
household.
everybody may not want to, but my point is, the minute I got in trouble, go clean the kitchen.
So
Are
she
you
used it
cleaning the
as a
kitchen?
punishment?
Yeah, like whenever anything. Are you cleaning the kitchen for a
I
month
see
now?
that makes people not want to do it. I feel like for me, if it's don't make it a punishment because I want my kitchen to be clean, so it's never gonna be a punishment to me.
I mean, I've lived with both of y'all, so y'all see how when I get in my moods, I just start cleaning. Like, I'll just clean some shit and then just be done with it. But
And it be love.
my mom just, like, ingrained that in us. Like, we all had different chores because it was 4 of us. So it's not like we was, you got to do the same one every day. Like, if I clean the bathroom, got to get out the toothbrush, get in the grout, like, all that stuff. Like, it was, like,
Yeah,
excess.
And
Like,
y'all slaves in the
nah,
house.
but
I
for
was
real,
a
no more
slave.
wire hangers, face
Nah.
that. It's like,
if it was my sister's week to clean the kitchen, Ty messed up. Ty, you clean the kitchen, and I gotta do whatever it is.
and I'm the
Clean bathroom,
vindictive
too.
person that would make Ty mess up that week because I mean, I hate to say it, I did that a couple times to my brother. It's like, oh, I know I gotta do this. I know if I do this, he gonna get off, and he gotta do it. I'ma do it. Like,
Hey, you're terrible.
I'm just
Now,
saying.
I don't think my sisters ever did that.
You don't
However,
think, but-
no, I'm not being real. I don't think they ever did that, but I know they weren't mad when I was told I had to clean the kitchen.
Oh,
They was
no.
like, oh, all right, bet. Get your ass in there and clean the kitchen. Like, they made sure I was going to do what I was supposed to do, especially when my mother said it.
Man, it's like that sometimes though. Just being a kid, you think of chores as
A punishment.
Yeah, but it's not really a
I
punishment.
mean, when you get older, you see it as a necessity.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
when
mean,
you
I'm
get
a
older,
neat,
it's
I'm
like,
a neat freak
man,
now because of it.
you be
It's
like,
my mom's fault.
Exactly. I'm OCD because of it, and that's something I can be proud of.
Sometimes I have to get out of my comfort zone and say, it's okay to be a little trifling today. Like,
trifling.
it's okay.
I go
Because
through
this
my
ain't
periods,
you all
like-
the time.
I go through my ups and downs. It's like, okay, I'm gonna clean everything every 2 seconds, and then it's like, damn, I'm the only one cleaning. Where the niggas that supposed to be cleaning? And it's like, oh, it's just you.
Nah, this fool did that when we lived in this house at Hampton, and she cleaned out the whole kitchen. It was like 9 people living in that house, and that fool decided to clean the entire kitchen. I was like, you got it.
Yeah, I clean.
I'm pretty sure everybody appreciated it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did.
But they didn't clean up
But they
after
were all
themselves
trifling,
again.
so they had like 5-year-old cake in the fridge, and it was trifling.
And I used to ask my mom all the time. I'd be like, "Well, how are we the only ones cleaning?" And she was like, "Well, if y'all weren't here, my house would be clean." And so when I go to visit her on a sneak, I'll be like, "Oh, is your house clean right now?" Like, cause it's not. Like, I thought you said if we wasn't there, it would be clean. If we wasn't messing it up, it'd be clean. But I'm just petty like that. So
We are petty.
They probably had us doing that because they knew we were small enough to get up in them crease corners and crevices.
but for real though,
I mean, speaking of though, you know, at this point in life, I can't do nothing without hurting myself. Wish I was young again to the point where I could just run around, no issues. You know, I done messed my back up, bending over to pick up a basketball at this point.
Bending over.
he said my body different. I'm breathing different.
I feel like every time I stand, my knees just start beatboxing.
Yeah.
See, my knees always crack because of dance and stuff. So I don't know. Like,
Let's blame dance.
I'm dead.
Like, don't nothing feel the same no more. Like, I could have been running around all day as a kid. Went into the crib, ate, and been good. Man, I run around for 5 minutes. Next day, I'm sure as I don't know what.
But I think our generation in general just wasn't prepared enough for being an adult. And that's why they came out with the term adulting. Because if you have to put a term with something,
Facts.
like, it has to affect a mass amount of people. Like,
Facts.
I feel like when we were kids, we used to think about it and we'd be like, oh, when I get older, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to have a house. I'm going to have a car.
Man, what?
I'm going to have 3 kids.
Man.
I'm going to have this. And now we looking back at it like,
What the fuck?
I think niggas only have kids so they can clean. Like, at this point.
On everything I love, I swear that is so true.
Because, I don't know. This
everybody
whole-
had that American dream that was going to happen exactly at 26. And
Or, yeah, we put age ranges on the times that we wanted stuff to get done, but we didn't realize all it took.
that-
Like,
yeah.
we just
And
weren't
especially
prepared.
because how time, like, we're not concentrating on things change as time goes on.
Exactly. Like,
Previously, they could have been able to do that because people got out of college and it was easy to find a career that gave you money. Like, you were able to make good money.
but now people can't even afford to
can't
get
even
into
afford to
college.
get-
Like,
But I
how you
also
gonna
think-
pay from the outside of the club? You can't even get in.
I also think back in the day, they became like what we consider adults now a lot earlier. Like,
Yeah.
I always compare it to watching Martin. Like, when I watched Martin, they were like 25.
I never
When
knew
the-
their actual age range.
Yeah,
in that
when the show first started, they were like 25. And
Living
so,
single too.
Yeah.
and it's like they were
And half
already
and half.
adulting. But, you know, by the time I was 25, I mean, yeah, I was adulting, but I still relied a lot heavily. That sounded so terrible. I still rely heavily on my parents and, you know, getting advice and things to make it through. So it's just like, you know, what a true adult is now is like
Totally.
30.
True.
Whereas back then
Honestly,
it was
there are
like...
people 30 that's still
Yeah,
trying to
30,
figure out what
35.
career they're trying to get into.
I mean,
But I mean, that's
gonna
not
lie.
necessarily adulting because I feel like figuring out your career versus it just depends on where you are in life, you know. But like, you know, back in the day, it's like, all right, 20, like honestly, 18, you low key an adult, like you handling business. But now 18, no, we
Low
still view
key,
as
I'm about to say,
kids.
the government told you were an adult.
But it also depends on your region too, because I'm from Ohio and 18, they are adults. They are handling business. Like, you know what I'm saying? They start doing things a lot earlier than when you get out here, people like get married at 20. Oh no. I'm like, good, we're on the same page. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, like people, I feel like people are getting married later. People are having kids later, or not even contemplating having kids at all because they feel like they're not stable in their life. And
We'll call this life interest. Like, you know how money interests, you know, everything
Life
has
interest.
interest. Life has interest. So if you was 18 before, the interest is 2 years. The interest is 2 years from there. Like, everybody's generation going to add that life interest. And it's not going to be the same ages as y'all was getting stuff done years before. Like,
That's true.
you got to think about inflation, all this stuff. Like, we can't afford the lifestyles that were so easily affordable
Back
before.
then, yeah.
Like, it just doesn't happen that way. And we're still basically, like, Virginia minimum wage, they're talking about changing it, but it's still $7.25.
And a freaking studio is like $1,600,
$12,000.
How you gonna pay for it?
For a
How,
studio
Sway?
apartment.
How?
So now flipping the script, when I think about it, being a kid and seeing adults, I would always wish, like, yo, I can't wait to grow up so I can have sex.
I'm dead.
S-E-X.
That's the most Tyrone answer I have ever heard in my
But
life.
little did I know,
Little
you did
kids
not
is
have
out here
to wait.
busting it wide open.
You did not have to wait till you grew up to have sex.
Man.
Hearing about 13-year-olds going ham.
I mean, getting pregnant, shoot.
It's a whole show. What you mean?
Right.
They say teen moms. They don't even call it 16 and pregnant no more. It's just
they
teen
do.
because it's too early. That's crazy.
13.
But nah, I was doing some stuff, you know. But I wasn't, okay. So I was doing some sneaky stuff as a child. And yes, I did want to grow up so I didn't have to sneak around. And that is my whole thing. It's like, okay, yeah, I got to stay after school late to do this. It's like, no, I don't. Like, you lying. Like,
Being buck wild.
nah, just roaming these streets.
Being buck wild.
These streets.
Yeah, my favorite line was like, man, I can't wait to grow up, get married, so I can have sex.
It-
And what am I?
Married.
Here we are.
Tyrone
Get
and marriage
married.
in the same sentence.
Still ain't married. Yeah, I act like I don't want to get married. I want to be married. I'm not trying
Eventually.
to be a bachelor
But
my
right
whole
now,
life.
it's hard for me.
Yeah, it is hard for you.
It's hard for you. Boy,
What we
stop
not about
playing.
to do is throw anybody under the bus.
So I'm still not married, but it's cool because I'm not out here having sex anyway.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for marriage.
I'm
Still.
the fuck out.
I'm
sorry.
still waiting for marriage.
He said, I'm dead. Anyway, I don't, I thought about marriage when I was younger a lot more than I do now. Like, now I'm looking at it more realistically, and it's like, I don't want somebody all up in my face. So,
But just because you're married, that don't mean they're going to be all up in your face.
It depends.
Gotta set-
most of the niggas I fuck with be all up in my face. I don't know what you doing,
gotta set
but
them boundaries.
yeah, and I'm not good at having those hard conversations, so I just won't get married.
Hey, it is what it is.
But as a kid, I was like, yeah, I could see myself being married to this person. I was like boy crazy when I was younger. I was like, oh my gosh, he said he loved me. Oh, he loves me. Like, I used to believe that shit
Yeah, a
all
lot of
day.
girls is boy crazy. As a matter of fact, all women start off boy crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother episode. So I'm going to go ahead and get back on track for us. But look,
I'm dead.
another thing, when I was a kid, I used to be like, yo, I can't wait to grow up so I can drink alcohol.
Oh, Lord.
My aunts, uncles, Hennessy and Heineken. That's all I remember, the H's. Hennessy and Heineken. I will always see them. And I remember one day, I took a little sip of some Heineken. I was 7 years old.
What?
We was having a cookout at the crib. And I guess somebody went into the bathroom. I didn't realize how unsanitary this was back then. Somebody left a Heineken in the bathroom.
my
You know,
sweet Jesus.
you probably had to open the seal, break the seal, whatever. Put the Heineken down, left it there, left the bathroom. So I go in the bathroom, you know what I'm saying, go handle my business. And it's just like door closed, and I see the Heineken bottle. And it's like a scene in a movie, like, you see the bottle, then you see me. You see the bottle, then you see me. And I'm just like, what you gonna do?
I think that's something I miss from being a kid, our curiosity.
Like,
Yeah, like we had so much curiosity towards things. Now it's like something can present itself and be right in our faces and be like, is it worth it? Like, I'm good. Like,
Needless
I
to
ain't even trying to
say,
deal with
I
that.
grabbed that bottle, took it to the head, and I've been an alcoholic ever since.
I'm dead.
No.
Tastes like Henny.
Nah, I definitely tasted it. It was like, ugh, this tastes gross. This ain't
It
soda.
is so nasty.
Beer is nasty, period.
Yeah.
Nah, it is.
But I had a similar story when I was younger because my dad used to smoke. And I was like, I mean, he always smoking, so must be something good with this, you know. So I tried to light a cigarette, and I was in the house, and I didn't realize how good my mom's sense of smell was. Like, I lit that joint. She was like, who's smoking in the house? Like, immediately. And I was like, oh, snap. Like, I'm hiding, trying to put stuff. I was the sneaky child. So I was like, well, how can I blame this on my brother? Like, in my mind, that's the only thing going through my mind. So, needless to say, I got my ass whooped because I was in her
I hope
room.
so. Trying to blame it on
Wait,
you.
you was in her room smoking?
Yeah, that's where the cigarettes was at. This is
You
my mom
supposed
and
to
my
at least
dad's
grab
room.
one and run outside or something.
Nah, I
How old
couldn't.
were you?
Maybe like 7.
You was
Or
trying
8.
to smoke a cigarette at 7?
I was-
See, it
I
don't
was
work like
10.
that. Cause I got
I
like
tried my first one.
I got like brothers and sisters, so it's like there's only so much space you could go. If I go outside, one of them's gonna follow me. Like, what you doing? You know what I'm saying?
That's when you be like, I'll let you take a puffy.
So in my mind,
right. Come on, try it with me. So if you go down, we both going down.
But I was the younger sister, so either way, I was about to go down. But in my mind, I was like, if I do it in here, I could blame it on my dad and be like, oh, he was, needed a fix. I didn't know how cigarettes work. I mean, he be all right. Like. I could blame it on someone. I was very sneaky, but I learned from the best.
It makes me wonder though, are our parents that naive to think that we were not going to try this stuff if it was left around?
My parents used to scare me, be like, we have a security camera in the house, and it's going to catch you if you do anything bad. And not knowing, my mama don't even know how to work technology.
No.
I used to be scared at first. I used to be like all secretive, like, one thing I used to be like, I'm going to be okay with watching porn out in the open.
You used to say you was going to be okay with that.
I was going to be okay.
As a kid, you thought you was going to be cool with growing up and watching porn in the open. And nobody was going to say
that. People had on last like shit. I'm dead. My mom used to pull up.
Had Disney Channel on the other.
Man, hold on. Speaking of porn, I got a story for that.
Niggas doing acrobatic.
I remember being a kid, and my mom had some porn tapes in her room. And then, the thing is, I found them by accident.
Ooh.
Because we used to have a bunch of VHSs. You know what I'm saying? It's back in the day. VHSs was popping.
I still got my VHS collection.
And so, I'm just bored on a Saturday. I'm like, man, ain't nothing to do. I done watched all these movies. I just started going in, just putting videos in. Let me just see what I get.
That's that curiosity.
Man, but it's I wasn't even looking for no porn. I'm just looking for some entertainment. Well, porn is entertainment, but I'm looking for some regular, PG-13 entertainment. Mm-hmm. And then I pop in a VHS.
You pop into what?
Disc.
I'm dead.
Hey,
go ahead.
Get y'all. So I'm popping a VHS, and all I know is I see titties everywhere.
This nigga had booty talk.
This nigga pressed save on that video. He was like,
my eyes is glued to the TV, and in my head I'm like, my mom watching
heard
porn,
the music.
but it was just crazy because now I'm like, hold on. If she got one in here, it's gotta be another one. So at this point, I'm going through these joints, looking for different porn tapes. I mean, I ain't really find nothing else. But I said all that to say, I'm sorry, I did find some later in life. But I took a collection of porn tapes to my cousin's house one time.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
And I was like, bruh, look, I got all these porn tapes. And so me and him and that joint just watching porn together, no free.
I would never understand that. I would never understand.
And we yo, the titties, the joint's big.
Oh my god.
And then next thing I know,
oh no,
the very next day we went to church. Came home from church.
Got your
all
ass
them videos was gone out of my bag. So I'm like, yo, what happened to the? So I asked my cousin, I was like, bro, did you move the tapes? He was like, nah.
Oh no.
Next thing I know, I'm chilling. My uncle come downstairs.
On a Sunday, bro.
He was like, pack your bags to get out of my house.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
you found them. Yo,
dead.
Whole collection. I guess I took too many though. So my mom realized her collection was gone. Was like, the only person who could be responsible for this is Taz.
I bet you had to clean the kitchen after that.
Clean the kitchen, rake the yard, clean the car, clean the neighborhood. Sanitation man of the world.
I've been cleaning my way to freedom.
Well, that was crazy.
I think the first time I watched porn, my dad was always getting kicked into the family room. If he would get, in trouble, he would be, oh, you got to sleep in the family room. And he would sleep on a couch. And the family room was past the laundry room. So you had to go through a whole bunch of stuff to get there. And I went to go watch something. And I had put aux to play, I think it was the Xbox, with my brother. And I put aux. And then it went to a different thing. And I was like, yo, what is this? I was just sitting there yo, what is this? I was like, Chazzy, you can't watch this. Go away. But I stayed. Sorry to this man.
I hope your brother beat your ass.
We used to get in fights, but he didn't get tall
Clearly.
until recently, so I was good.
So, Sabby, what about your first porn experience?
Who knows? Probably no. You know what? I do know. It was like probably like Real Talk from HBO or something.
See, your parents used to
man,
pay for the
days.
channels.
Oh yeah, we had all the channels.
No.
And I remember I used to have like probably like Disney or Discovery Kids on last, just being stupid as hell.
PBS.
But that'd be the worst though, like, cause real live, it'd be some nights where I used to be at one of my aunt's house, and then I'll be watching like HBO, like regular movies.
And then it just
And
come
then-
on. But when you
but you
sleep,
fall asleep. You fall
And you
asleep
wake up,
to it.
you wake up to porn.
But the next thing I know, I wake up to porn, and then so I just wake up, and then my aunt had to go use the bathroom. What you watching? I was like, I
don't
was
know.
asleep. It wasn't me. Like,
and you already got the
But
tapes on your track
you know,
record.
that's
So.
why HBO started doing the separate channels. So that's why they had like the HBO Family and stuff like that. Because that's what would happen.
HBO After Dark, really. Whoa.
I learned a lot from HBO After Dark. Okay.
What happened here?
nah, but that's crazy though. So like, man, just being a kid and then like experiencing so many adult things, that now it's just like, if I want to go watch some porn, I'm watching porn. Like, I don't gotta get caught. If I want to go smoke a cigarette, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I don't gotta worry
But
about
I don't
getting
want to.
caught. Like,
That's so
Yeah.
nasty.
yeah, I still don't smoke cigarettes.
I think when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to just try it because of the curiosity thing. But once
Right,
I tried it, I was
sorry.
like, this is the nastiest thing I've
niggas
ever
who
done.
smoke cigarettes, they breath be
Man.
1,000.
And then the one thing about being a kid that I hated is I couldn't cuss. Because
Clearly, your ass is cussing the storm now.
But if you cussed on accident, I remember one time, it was around Christmas, right? And I was eating a candy cane, and I was trying to impress all these dudes or whatever.
You
And
are.
it was just outside, and then
Hold on, stop. Time out.
Go
You was
ahead.
trying to impress dudes
yeah.
by sucking on a candy cane.
No, I was walking around trying to impress dudes, right?
Oh,
My
alright.
mom was outside or whatever, and I had accidentally hit the candy cane. And I was like, oh, fuck. And my mom, she was like, go in the house. I was like, no, this is so embarrassing.
Very.
She was like, I said go in the house. I was like, I can't show my face again no more.
Let me tell you twice.
I had to be like 13, so I was old enough
Yeah.
to like realize that this was embarrassing as
Yeah.
hell. But every time I would cuss, every time anybody in my family would cuss, she would wash our mouths out with soap. It was soap. Like we had to put soap in our mouths. We had to
Yeah.
keep it in there for 30 seconds.
My mom definitely hit me
Ew.
with one of those one time when I was 7. I
No.
feel like,
Oh, y'all parents
seven.
are abusive.
I feel like
This
7
was back
my
in the
age.
day when abuse was okay. You know?
Nah, my mother like definitely put up, and I never forget. It was Dial.
Yo.
It was orange. So
So-
it was definitely Dial.
My mother
Ooh.
never done any of this.
I done had liquid soap. The worst kind of soap is the lava soap because it's so sandy or whatever, and it just sit in your mouth.
First of all, the fact that you know this.
I done had all different. I mean, I cuss a lot. What y'all think this just came this year? Like,
Y'all parents are crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
oh,
But so
whatever.
look, for me, the funny thing is, I remember the first time I cursed. And the reason I remember it is because it was the first day I decided that it was okay for me to curse was the day that I got in trouble for cursing. And I was 7. I'll never forget, I was at the basketball court. I was with a boy named Sonny. And Sonny, I think, was a year older than me, so he was like 8. But I just remember being at the basketball court.
Oh, was
And
Sonny white?
No, he was black.
Oh, okay.
And he was cursing up a storm. Like, he was just putting a series of curse words together just because he could, because his mom wasn't there. And so I'm like, yo, he cursing a lot. And I asked him, I was like, why you curse so much? He was like, cuz, my mom not here. You don't curse? I was like, no. Even though I done heard curse words, he was like, well, you can. Like, peer pressure.
It's the gateway.
Man, what? So he was like, well, you can't. I was like, what you mean? He was like, your mom's not here. You're not going to get in trouble. He was like, go ahead, curse. I was like, shit.
Tyrone, the gears going on head.
I'm like, oh, my mom not here. So, like, all the 30...
Like, oh, fuck, shit, bitch.
That's how Waka Flocka Flame came out for real.
Look. So all the 30 minutes go by, and then my mom show up. So she was, she seen me at the basketball court. She was like, "Come here, gave me a hug, whatever." And then but I had Sonny's basketball at the time, and so he thought I was leaving with his basketball, but I was just going to say what's up to my
Said,
mom
like,
and come
bring me
back.
that shit back.
So next thing I know, he's behind me cursing up a storm, like, "Nigga, bring your bitch ass back in there, my motherfucker!" Like, and then my mom's right here. So, you know what I'm saying? My mom's like, and she knows his mom. She's like, Sonny, why are you talking like that? And then he was like, oh, my bad, but I thought he was taking my ball. And I'm like, no, I'm not taking my ball. She was like, boy, you don't need to be cursing. And immediately, you know what he said?
He snitched.
He be cursing too.
No!
Like, right then and there. And then I looked at my mom, jaw open, like, I'm giving it all away. And she was like, you be cursing? She gave me that mom eye, like, duh. I was like, no, I don't be cursing. Like, but I was like, young, I just cursed for the first time today, and I had to lie to my mom about it. Like, it's crazy. And then ever since then, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I'm weak. Sonny snitched like shit, bro.
Definitely snitch.
He was going so hard at first. Like,
He be cursing too. Like, I'm like, bro,
dead.
come on.
He prepared you just for that moment. That's the crazy
Man,
part.
what? Definitely. He was trying to bring me down, man.
My whole thing is I hate when parents be like, I don't know where they get that from. Like,
and I'm like, fuck.
you just like you just cussed me out. You call me all types of niggas and bitches. Like, y'all remember that?
My mom used to curse like a sailor.
Right.
I don't think I've ever heard a curse word come out of my mom's mouth. My dad, I remember the first time I saw my dad cuss somebody out, like full-fledged cuss somebody out. That was the first time we went to Sierra Leone. And I don't know, something had happened.
He did it in the motherland.
Yeah, I don't know. So, like, we were traveling on a ferry, and something happened to the ferry. So, like, it docked, and then we took a bus the rest of the way. But apparently, we had to buy a ticket for the bus. I was like,
but you already bought a ferry.
But
and
if the ferry broke down, so my dad was like, "Oh, nah, I'll blow your fucking head off."
Oh,
like,
gangster!
Daddy,
that's you.
Who's this man? And he was going. I'm talking about he's on fire, and I'm like, why is he going off? I was like, oh, okay, so that's probably where I get it from.
Nah, my sisters are like 10 years older than me. So I definitely knew what cussing was. And then on top of that, anytime they went somewhere, their punishment was they had to take me. So if they go into the mall with their friends, they gotta take me.
That's messed up.
No, because if you think about it, if you got a kid with you, you're not gonna make kids, and that was my mom's whole thing.
Okay,
right? Little did they know. No. But like it was always like me and then a whole bunch of teenagers, and so I'm like, oh, this is fun. You know, I'm hanging out in the mall. It's like, oh, they're cussing. Yes. Like, I just knew I was grown. Like, I just knew I was grown. Like, people would be like, you don't know about this music? You don't know about this? It's like, yeah, I do. Like, don't do that. I've been grown my whole life. Like,
I've been grown my whole life.
At that point, I think when I was a kid, I just really wanted to grow up so fast. And I really hate that.
I think every kid wanted to do that. And then when you finally got older, you like,
I wish I was a kid.
I just want to watch Saturday cartoons again. Like,
I
I want to watch Pokemon.
Okay.
But I'm glad my mom instilled in me some of the things that she did because, like, things like cooking and stuff like that, a lot of people don't know how to do. Like, when I went to college, people was like, oh, you know how to iron clothes? Like, you don't know how to iron.
A lot of people didn't know how to do their own laundry.
Their laundry, period.
Oh my gosh. Yes. When we went to the Hampton Laundromat, it was like, what do I
do? Like, what do I put in?
Oh my gosh.
Nah, that's a whole problem.
Oh, my mom was not playing. Every Saturday we had to do laundry with her. Oh, no.
Every week we had to come up with a meal that we were going to cook on a certain day. Mm-hmm. And then we had to budget for that meal, cut coupons for that meal, go to the store, buy that meal, get that, and then prepare the meal.
Too much.
But that, I mean, it did help. It did help.
I'm sure
so
your mom be throwing down, so I'm glad your mom did it. Because if it weren't for you, I would not be eating good.
Nah, that's true though. I can honestly say though, like
I wish you would have did that with my taxes though. I'll be confused.
Okay.
I still be paying more than $750 and we went.
the independence that my mom put on me and my sisters though is probably the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, I remember being 7, my sisters being 9. And it's like my mom gets up for work at 5:30 in the morning, so by the time I wake up, she's not there. And, you know, my sister's tired, get up, go brush your teeth. All right, come on, we about to eat breakfast. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember that independence that we created as 7 and 9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Going to the bus. Okay, get off the bus. Making sure we got our key on the lanyard. You know, make sure, my mother, you better not lose that key. Keep it around your neck all day. You know,
because if you lose a key
kid.
to my house, you're going to pay for the lock change. Because that's a whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I remember that
Black people always think somebody try to get at their house. Like, they don't even know what this key go to. Like, they got to try every house.
They about to just guess.
Right.
Guess like, nobody got time for that. Right. Literally. Like, at all. But, like, no, I really appreciate the independence, and I think it's crazy now because growing up, you see the kids of today, and they just don't seem as independent. Like, and it goes back to what we said in the beginning. Like, being an adult, like that true adulthood comes like a lot later now.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because, you know, people are just so afraid, you know, to give their kids that independence. I mean, being afraid, and I mean, of course it's against the law. You can't, technically, was we supposed to be left in the crib by ourselves at 7 and 9?
Not at all.
Absolutely not. But my mom was a single parent.
Yeah.
She had to go to work. So she made sure we knew the rules. Don't turn on that stove. Anything you want, put it in the microwave. It's juice in it, it's water in it. Wait till I get home, I'll make dinner. Mm-hmm. And it was that simple. So it's either cereal, chips and snacks, and fruit. And water and Kool-Aid. And you drink a bottle of Kool-Aid, that's it.
I remember the first time I taught my niece to cook something in the microwave, and my sister called me and she was like cussing me out. I don't remember.
She put metal in the microwave?
No, I don't remember what it was, but she put like the popcorn. I think it was the popcorn, but she put the whole bag in. Like she didn't open the bag.
Oh, she didn't take out the plastic.
She just put it in the microwave. And she was like, "You got by in here trying to ruin my microwave." Like I'm like, "Oh, my bad. I won't teach them nothing ever again." Like, but she got it down eventually.
Hey, you gotta make mistakes to learn.
Exactly.
Just, you know, certain mistakes.
Just don't burn down my house.
Yeah.
I feel my upbringing was a little bit different. Like my mom woke me up in the morning. Like both my parents were always home. But I feel like I still have that sense of independence now. Maybe because they gave me time to breathe a little bit to understand. But I feel like yours was a little bit different. But you still became independent, and mine is different. But I still became independent as well. I mean, granted, I still live with my mom, but it's not because I can't live by myself. It's because my mom is like, "Hey, I'll pay your rent for you." I'm like, "I'll take you up on that."
I wish.
And it all depends on what you go through in life, because some people that you meet, they don't really go through a lot of things in life. Mm-hmm. And so when they get older and they start to go through things,
they don't know how to handle it.
Their whole life just wraps around them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people who are like that.
Yes.
And it would be like the simplest things, and they would have a whole breakdown. Like, I got to go get an oil change.
Oh, my life is over.
Like, girl, if you don't go get an oil change, I can change
walk to that 7-Eleven and go get some oil.
Right. Like, it would be the simplest things, and you'll see people breaking down. But I feel like sometimes it's maybe, you know, the parent wasn't in the home, they didn't understand how to do it themselves, so they didn't teach you, and there was just like a disconnect.
Or some people are just spoiled. We could just say
that. Some people are just spoiled. But
I feel like I was spoiled as a kid, but I still watched my parents to understand what I needed to get done.
Yeah, but some people was just like, oh, these are just the givers. I don't have to learn anything from them. You know what I'm saying?
But see, as a parent, I think it's your responsibility to understand that, okay, if you're spoiling your child, cool, but just know that you still got to, things come with lessons, so you still got to teach them along the way, even if you spoil them.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, whenever I have kids, I'm gonna make sure I'm that parent, because I want to give my kids the things that they want, desire, but I also want them to understand that you do have to work for things that you want. You have to earn it. Everything is not given to you. You know, so forth and so forth. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, we all got to learn at some point.
I think that's every parent's goal, is to make sure that they did right by their children. But I think, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. But I feel like it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. If I was to have a kid today, which obviously is not, you know, possible, you know, physically, you can't just have a kid right now. But if I was to have a kid today, I think you're going to think about that kid 100% of the time. Like, everything you do is going to revolve around that kid, or see what happens when that kid is there. And it just, it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to put a whole life at, like, I'm responsible for this life. Especially if you think about the day and age of, like, mass shootings and stuff like that. It's like,
you're going to over worry yourself.
Exactly.
But that's what they always tell parents. Like, you have to make sure you take care of yourself as well, because being a parent alone is one of the most stressful jobs that you have for yourself. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure you have a clear mind about it, because the way society is, if you're worrying about your child 24/7, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the way society is today, because
everybody's scary. Everybody's scared.
Yeah. And there's so much to be scared about. Like, we don't, like, this is a whole pandemic. This is like, we didn't prepare for this.
And they're trying to send their kids to school.
For biological warfare. Like, like, what's going on? We don't even know. But also, when you're younger, you prepare your mind to be a parent. Like, when you're a kid, you're like, I can't wait to be a parent. You know, I can't wait to do this and have my own kids and tell them what to do. But then it's like, we're in this gap where we're not we're not kids and we're not parents. So
Yeah.
it's like, what do we do with this? Like, where do we go from here?
Absolutely. All right, guys. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. Just kick back. Take a second to think about those times when you were kids and the things that you wanted to do. Hopefully you were able to relate. Think about you being an adult now and things that you wish you can go back to do as a kid. You know, debate those things. Talk to your friends about it. Have great conversations out there. Siobhan, go ahead and wrap it up for us.
So we talked about growing pains and growing up today, but this tip is about growing your hair. There is no miracle cure for growing your hair. What you put inside your body matters just as much as what you put on your body. So treat your body and your hair with natural products, and they will thank you in the end. Shout out to the Butterland. And remember, if you can't read it, you don't need it.